Top of the morning.
G'day, mates.
We picked up another passenger.
Hi.
Welcome to Paige. Now, Paige has an admission she'd like to make. See, she had clearly misspoken when we were in Santa Monica and we did our dump station. It was her first dump station experience. And, well, how did that go for you?
It was a lovely experience that I do not want to experience again.
We're getting closer to the truth. I can tell. Anyways, today we are going to a fancy place here in Texas. This area of Texas has a lot of like kind of kitschy little shops. Where are we going?
La La Land,
La La
the
Land.
coffee shop.
The only La La Land I've ever heard of is that musical. It's like a musical. It's supposed to be really well done. I don't like when people sing. There's something about people singing just pisses me off. If you're not like a musician, I don't know why.
That even includes me in the car or the shower.
That's true. I don't know. It's a weird, I'm like, hey. Sensitive glass around us, you know what I mean? Anyways, let's go. Welcome to Paige. Paige, welcome. Welcome to Paige. World meet Paige. But she has been begging for a shout out for how long?
Like 5 years.
Yeah, and
Here it is, Paige. You get to be in the video.
I'm in the video.
so it's pretty nice of me.
It's pretty nice of you.
Let's roll.
What do you guys think?
10 out of 10.
Paige has 10 out of 10.
Oh, wasn't
I like it.
she
I think
changes
it's
her
cute in
reviews? I
there.
swear to you, she changes her reviews.
Well, is it 10 out of 10 for the aesthetic, or is it 10 out of 10
I think
for
it's,
the,
like,
the food and drink?
Overall, 10 out of 10. Food and drink, maybe like 7 out of 10. The chocolate croissant is a little disappointing.
That is not 10 out of 10. I would give it a solid 3 out of 10 for food quality.
Oh,
I would go with
I
1
said
out of 10 for
7
food
out of
quality.
10.
I'd say like 8 out of 10 for like giving that like fancy aesthetic. 7 or 8. Yeah.
I give the vibes like a 9. I give the vibes like a 9 out of 10.
We are all over the place. This is
I
terrible.
I do like that cowboy coffee place in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was neat. This just didn't have like.
And their breakfast burrito is really good.
They were super popular in there. They were trying to be fancy, and I think they kind of nailed the fancy-ish part, But
Everything's yellow and white, and it's very happy.
I don't know. Like, see, here's the thing. Like, the hot cocoa just tasted like kind of like a chemical mixed with like the facsimile of chocolate. My Pop-Tart was terrible. Like, it was a solid 1.
Because it was healthy.
No, it was not healthy. There was nothing healthy about that.
It was not healthy, but it was.
Get-
It was better than a real Pop-Tart, in my opinion. It did taste fresh. Like, it tastes like...
Legit.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes like jam inside. But no, if I'm eating a Pop-Tart, I know I'm eating trash. Like, give me the best tasting trash I can have. You know what I mean? That was not good.
I think that wrecked it for you.
It did. It's like I had an expectation. In fairness, I had an expectation. But if it could have, if it was just like different but good, I would have said that. But I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty fair. And the chocolate croissant, I think the croissant was really good, but they put like a fat ass chunk of chocolate right in the middle, and then they wrapped it around, and so like it was real flaky and kind of more brown than and it was just real messy. So.
Well, we did luck out, and we did get 2 free chocolate chip cookies because
They made a mistake.
they made a mistake and they gave us chocolate chip cookies instead of chocolate croissants, and then they
They're-
let us keep them.
They are sort of like a fancy bakery, and I don't like fancy bakery stuff. I'm a basic bakery bitch.
I did get the banana cloud latte, which I thought was gonna be warm, but it was cold. But it's just fine. But it was good. It tastes like banana bread.
Yeah, so this was a way too complicated review of La La Land in Tejas. And jeez. Also, there's a funny like collaboration between Lululemon and La La Land.
La la Lulu.
And one of the cool things about this place, though, is that they do. It appears that they hire and nurture, and find housing for foster kids that are in need of some support. And so, but everybody was like on the ball there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for what it's not their fault. What I think the funny thing though, McDonald's has this tastes like McDonald's hot chocolate. If you guys have ever had McDonald's hot chocolate, But the Starbucks, I don't like anything from Starbucks but their hot cocoa slabs, especially the peppermint one. So we have a couple of thoughts after talking to some more Texans and a few folks that are younger and one really kind gal who we had a great, like we were 1-to-1, like 100% on everything. And
Her name was Sunshine.
Sunshine, really cool. Let's talk about that. Oh man, so we are here in, I mean, it's mid-January now. Well, actually, it is January 17th already. Like, this January's flown by.
Sure has.
And so, and it's funny because we're kind of losing, you thought it was Sunday all day today.
I did, and it's Saturday.
So it's kind of funny because our only frame of reference is like other people are kind of free. They're available, right? Like, or they're not at school or they're not at work or whatever it is. And so, you know, it's really kind of funny from that perspective. But it is not like we are just on vacation, you know. Somebody had mentioned, and they're like, yeah, well, enjoy your vacation. And this is not quite, I mean, it's no more a vacation than everyday life is a vacation.
Yeah, like we're just doing everything we would normally do, just with family around.
Yeah, and so, which I would actually say is kind of harder, because you're trying to balance like spending time with certain people and getting our work done, and we still work, and so.
And finding content for videos and things like that.
Yes, which actually is harder than it might seem, right? Like, because the hard part is that if you make certain videos, people are just not going to care, and that's the hardest part. Like, what can we offer people that they care about? And there, you know, we have a lot of ideas, and generally, like, I don't even have to think about something. It's just like, this is what we're experiencing. This is what we're fixing. This is what we're doing that day. This is what we're exploring. And we don't do it in the way that other people will like plan everything to the T. And I love that.
A lot of times it's literally like, what can we get into today? Like, what can we find to do today? Right.
And so like, I think the other thing is, right, if we were to do that kind of, we're planning everything to the T and something closes, or it's like, wow, you got to pivot, but like, it's like it's a whole deal.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're still working, marketing, and you know all that good stuff. And so, yeah, it's good times.
It's interesting though, because like the days are flying by. Like it feels like we're doing a lot, but we're not doing a lot, and like the days are going slow, but then they're also going really fast.
So you know, it is interesting because our days are typically like we wake up, we eat, or not, and then we go and we travel, and we're going to do things. That's the marker for us. It's like, you know, we're accomplishing, or we're going to this new place, and we're creating opinions, and this is not happening. No, every day.
Not every day.
One interesting thing is I feel a lot less healthy. You know, it's a funny thing. We're not, we by default, we get exercise and we just don't even realize it. You know, like your goal is to do 10,000 steps. I don't do well with goals like that. And so like, I'll just tag along. Like if I'm just like, yeah, we're just gonna go walk around. Like once you get walking, you're gonna keep walking, right? Like, and then 10 turns into 15,000. Yeah, body emotion stay. And so, you know, especially in courtside, you know, it's funny because we were kind of in the same place.
Yeah.
Never felt like, you know.
I will intentionally go for walks though. Like I will intentionally go out, like take 10 minutes and say, I'm gonna go for a 10-minute walk right now.
You've been better about that, yeah. But I'll get into a project and I'm so comfortable. You know, this is not that we're uncomfortable in our rig, but like there's not a call to the outside, let's say. In big houses, and when you have all the comforts, you have all the heating and air conditioning, and then you have the comfortable chairs, and like you have a room full of food. I am noticing I'm just like, well, I can snack it. And they're like, yeah, have as much as you want.
I think you fall into this or like people in general, not just you, like us as people fall into this thing of like, well, it's there and I'm bored, so I'll do it.
I think that we're designed to do that. Hunter, gatherer, like if food is there, you know, like it's not like people are consciously like, yeah, I'm gonna go eat as much as I can. Like that. This is like a natural behavior, and you kind of have to fight that to some degree. We tend to only bring in certain foods, and it is what, like when I'm working for too long, I like look out and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, right? You have this natural interest to go outside, and then the food that we bring in is, we try to keep it rather healthy. We always have a snack or two, but it's like, you know, we limit that so that we never have waste as much as we can avoid.
Well, that, and also like, in our trailer, we're so close to windows. Like there's always so much natural light. There's so like you can look out and you can see what's out there, and it entices you to go outside. Like you're really close to nature, even though you're inside. Whereas in some of these houses, like there's like window coverings, and there's like shades, and there's like awnings and things that are covering. Like you're not getting as much, like you're not as close to the outside, and sometimes like you're so close to the neighbor's house that like you're not really seeing outside even when you look outside.
No, and it is fascinating because you're really, like, I think about the design of like most houses, you're actually facing away from the windows often, right? And so to me, like, everybody goes, I want as much space as we can have. But I don't feel cramped in a big house, but I don't feel connected to the outside, which is the most spacious of all, right?
Right.
And so I think that's kind of an interesting thing, and we are very fortunate to have a rig that, like, no matter which direction you face, because we always add the light, and like we feel the wind when the wind rocks, even with the stabilizers down, you feel a little bit of that, and you can hear the rain, and it's funny because there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we've been kind of rolling around and checking different places out, and like, you know, down to everything is so spread out here in this Dallas area, right? If you're in, you know, McKinney or Prosper or Salina or Allen or Plano,
Frisco or
just to Dallas, like, is, you know, without traffic is quite a drive. And so we went to a place called Denton, Texas, and it was kind of like the first time that we've seen kind of a small town in this sort of area. And I think it was, man, that was like a 2-hour drive just to get there, an hour and a half or something like that. And it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And but we go in there, and this is a really cool camera shop, and it's like a lot of used gear. I don't think he sold anything new that I could. And so we're like looking and seeing what they have, and just talking to the gentleman, and then it got busy as soon as we come in. It was like there was nobody there. But we got to chatting with a gal. Her name was Sunshine, and so she was really quite an interest. And so we started talking about solar and how we live, and she's like, oh, right on, you know. But one thing that we completely agreed on was things are changing significantly, you know, because we were kind of coming at it from an outsider, a non-Texan perspective of like, this is not what we expected of Texas.
Right.
Right? This is this.
It's not the Wild Wild West. It's not cowboys.
No, and it's funny because you see a lot of, we were talking, I'm like, yeah, you see a lot of, if you do see a cowboy hat, which you don't see a whole lot of, but, you know, when you do see them, you see a lot of clean boots that go along with them, you know, they're like they've never touched dirt.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, and it's interesting because like you'll drive through areas where like you can tell farms used to be, and now there's neighborhoods and stuff, and there's like little farms kind of just like holding on for dear life in the middle of all of these neighborhoods kind of thing.
And we talked about like the HOA communities and the design of buildings, and I was surprised. She was right there with me, nodding right along, and she was adding in, and she goes, these cities have lost all character.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about like, don't California my Texas, and she goes, yeah, that's a real thing. And right along with that is the significant increase in taxes, and she goes, people that have lived here for 30, 40, 50 years can't afford it anymore. And she goes, and that's just not the Texan way.
Yeah.
I was so surprised to hear that, you know, not about the taxes, we knew about the taxes, but like when she goes, the Texas way, and I'm like, that's a good point. You know, the spirit of liberty and independence and freedom and home ownership, right, and community. It's sort of a funny thing that like, she's like, yeah, we've all but lost it here. Not that like everywhere, like West Texas when we're driving through, you still see smaller towns, but you can see them kind of growing. But I think there's an unsustainable, the word she kept using was unsustainable. She goes, this isn't sustainable. She goes, yeah, everybody's buying these houses for $400,000 or $500,000, sometimes more. Yeah. But then, yeah, you can flip them. But how many times can you flip? Like, why would you buy a house at $800,000? You know, a used house. If you can go down the street a little bit farther, there's another planned community popping up, and that house you can buy one for $350,000, $400,000, right? Like, why would you do that? Yeah. And you go, well, okay, this one has a pool in it, but like, yeah, okay, add another $100,000. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about these things, and I'm like, it's interesting because part of the reason that the cost will go up is because there's value there, right, or perceived value, and sometimes it's like there's just not a lot. You know, a lot of people say there's not a lot of land. There's a ton of land. Yeah, there's a ton of land. There's a ton of land, especially here. And so there's no scarcity, you know. It's a fascinating kind of thing. So yeah. But I was kind of sharing that with her, my perception. She goes, she's right there with us. Yeah. And that's what we've kind of seen all over. It's fascinating. And we've seen that in California. You see that in Washington as well, in some of the areas that are that were formerly undeveloped, and now they're popping up fast. This what, suburban sprawl, right? Yeah. Well, it's funny because the phrase "Don't mess with Texas" was actually a campaign to like stop littering in Texas. But they should like revitalize that and bring it back as like a don't mess with Texas, like don't mess with what Texas should be. Right. Well, in the politics, she goes, we're on the, she called it, I think, the I-35 corridor or something like that. Yeah. And she goes, it's very purple, you know. And so Texas historically has been very red, you know, and I'm not saying, this is not a value statement, this is just what it is. And she goes, Dallas is extraordinarily like purple or blue. Austin's very blue, and it had been for a long time. She goes, Houston, and she goes, you really got to get out of here. And she's like, it really sounds like that's basically like the values that were Texas. They're all but gone.
Yeah.
And I think Texas was sort of the last like Wild West, really.
Yeah.
You know, because you look at Arizona, and I love Arizona.
Yeah.
We love Nevada, right?
Yeah.
But they're kind of modernized, and it is what it is. You know, there's some areas in Nevada that there's just nothing going on, but you know,
Yeah.
it is like, but they're very, very close to California as well. And so it's a very interesting thing that this spread.
Yeah.
And I think part of that though too is that Texas was really friendly to tech,
Yeah.
taxes wise tech. And so maybe they're more friendly to these businesses that tend to invite more people that vote a different way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that also increases your taxes. So your livability has, tanked. So your house is cheaper. But like we were talking, $20,000 a year, $10,000 a year for taxes is extraordinary.
Yeah.
For the rest of, and that's only going to go up for the rest of the time that you own your home.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
At no point do you cap, right? Like, do you say, okay, I'm 55 years old, I shouldn't have to pay taxes, or I retire, I shouldn't have to pay taxes, or hey, I've paid this for 10 years, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to be done paying taxes. You will never own that home. And she was right along with it, I think.
Yep.
What a shame.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting, and I think there are, it's not like just a red or a blue thing. That I think it's a values thing that, like, I think people should be able to own their home. I agree.
I agree.
I don't know, but I also understand people will say, well, what about this and what about this? What about this? Well, funny, because we figured it out before, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
And other places have figured it out.
Yeah.
So I just think that's an interesting thing. So those are sort of our perceptions, and there's not. It's just we're in a weird time right now where there's not too much going on.
Also, Texas, I thought was supposed to be warm. It's below freezing at night. It's cold during the day.
Yeah, I guess we got here. Weather was beautiful. Yeah, now it's below freezing. 19 degrees Fahrenheit last night.
Yeah, it's like 38 degrees right now.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how our trailer is holding up, it's just fine.
That's fine.
It's we just keep we're using the roof heat. It's been fine.
Heat pump, yeah.
Somebody actually mentioned the other day, they're like, well, you should run the furnace because it's like lower down, or it's going to get heat in the belly or whatever. We don't have a belly, and as long as we're circulating the heat, it's fine. Yeah, it's been, So anyway, I thought that was interesting. So, we'll be. Yeah, I think we'll be back on the road in. I think we have another week, right?
Not even.
Not just under a week.
Yep.
So, that'll be kind of cool, and then. Yeah, I'm kind of okay. So I'm looking forward to getting back on the road because I think our routine will get back into place.
Yeah.
But we'll be going into some cold weather.
We sure will.
Especially through Tennessee. Those are some icy winter. That was an icy
Our
winter.
nice winter coats are going to be pulled out and put to use for a while.
Gotta find our gloves.
Yep.
We're having some fun though.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with family.
We're actually going to make some pizza in a little while with my dad because he actually loves making pizza. He used to work at a pizza place, so.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.